Yeah, the Baha'i faith is the latest in the series of divine revelations which complements all the earlier religious and spiritual disciplines of the past. Baha'is believe that religion of humanity is one, it is progressive and continuous, and as a system of knowledge, it has to complement the other system of knowledge called science. That's why for Baha'is, Dharma and Vigyan, they are complementary to each other, because civilization marches forward when both the systems of knowledge collaborate, cooperate and support each other for the betterment of humanity.
Since how long you are with this Baha'i?
Yeah, I heard about the Baha'i faith way back in 1975, and anybody who is a Baha'i is by one's conviction and not by birth. So my father had heard of the Baha'i faith 3 years before me in 1972, and one day when we were talking about religion, he had always told us that don't become connected to any religion, because most of the religions they are in the hands of people who seem to be more interested in material advancement and their own personal agendas. So we were brought up as a free thinker, but in our home my father used to always say, if you want an example, a good spiritual example, then study the life of Swami Vivekananda. So when he had heard of the Baha'i faith and he studied, he found that the Baha'i faith is so advanced and progressive that it gives you a completely new understanding of what religion is. And he understands and he explained that religion has two sets of teachings. One is the spiritual teachings on the basis of which humanity can be united, and then you have the social teachings or the administrative teachings where each of the religious communities are organized according to their own systems. So these social or administrative teachings are secondary. The essential truth about religion is the spiritual core. So the way he explained, I got very interested, because I was also all the time thinking why there is so much of bloodshed in the name of religion, why people are fighting. There is something very fundamentally wrong. But when I started studying the teachings of Baha'u'llah, and he explained that religion of humanity is for love and unity and harmony and never a cause for conflict and wars, then it began to make sense. And so Baha'u'llah has given us a blueprint for a new world order. For Baha'is, this new world order is the same as the Ram Rajya or the kingdom of God for the Christians, because we believe that all humanity is one people and this planet is our common homeland. So these things begin to make sense, and I started studying, and in a matter of 6 months I went to the nearest Baha'i administrative institution, since we were living in Bangalore, the local spiritual assembly, and registered myself. And ever since I've been an active member of the community, serving on the local, state and the national institutions, and also represented the Baha'i community of India at the international conventions on a number of occasions.
Tell us about the Baha'i community in India.
Yeah, the Baha'i community of India is in fact as old as the Baha'i community of Iran, where it started, because Iran and India had very close connections, both in terms of travelers coming and going, trade, and it is a close proximity. So people from Iran used to come to India, and people from India used to go to Iran, and this exchange perhaps led for the Baha'i faith to have its earliest beginnings in the country. And today, in about 170 years, there are about almost 2 million Baha'is in India, and they are in every state of the country. Of course, India has got 620 districts. We may not have Baha'is in all the 620 districts, but at least about 300-400 districts, the Baha'i communities are there. The numbers may be small, but they are all committed to the teachings that I described to you. For the betterment of society, they hold prayer meetings, they have children's classes, they have junior youth empowerment programs, they organize study circles, because through the study circles, the adults come to know what is the purpose of religion and how it can complement the secular body of knowledge and information which is available to humanity.
When you talk of community services,
Yes.
do you have some kind of community service?
Yes, we have got more than 60 Baha'i-inspired schools in the country. We have many projects for the empowerment of women, literacy programs, self-employment skills, and there are a number of institutions that are doing services on a national scale, like the Burley Institute for Rural Development based in Indore. There is the New Era Development Institute or the New Era Teacher Training Center, and the New Era Development Institute in Panchgani near Pune. Then we have several other projects in Uttar Pradesh. Especially we started tutorial schools in the Malhausi area, because there the government schools were very ineffective or not functioning, and as a result most people remain illiterate. So like this we have several projects. The Bahai Lotus Temple itself is a wonderful example of how the spiritual teachings of the faith and social service go hand in hand, because all our children's program we make sure that the children do not neglect their school education, and we have regular classes to enhance their skills about mathematics, their ability to understand language, Hindi and English, because it is by a good command over the language that you can access the body of knowledge. Then there are people who help them out with computer usage. I myself run a small resource center for disabled children, and I'm inspired by the Bahai teachings, though it's an independent NGO. So like this, there are many Baha'is throughout the country who, apart from their spiritual commitments, also do a lot of social work.
So how do you fund all these activities?
Now the unique thing about the Baha'i faith is, for the Baha'i activities, Baha'u'llah said it should come only from the voluntary contributions of the members of the community. We do not accept funds. But for schools and socio-economic development programs, we accept, because that is benefiting the larger society. So the privilege to contribute for Baha'i activities is only to the Baha'is. But for socio-economic development projects, for service to the society, since resources are needed for reaching out to the larger population, we welcome their funds. But at the Baha'i temple, you must have noticed that there is not a single fund box, nor volunteers ever seek any kind of financial benefit, because that is not allowed. And if the Baha'is who visit the temple want to contribute, they can go to the office and ask where is the Baha'i fund box, and they voluntarily can put their funds in that box. Then it is properly accounted for, and it is annually reported at the National Baha'i Convention that how much money came for the temple, how much came for the administrative work, how much came for support of volunteers. All that is meticulously recorded and shared with the community.
Do you have some prayer program weekly or daily?
Yeah, in fact prayers are integral, because for Baha'is, prayer is a loving conversation with our Creator, and this conversation has to be done every day. I mean, you can give up food for your material sustenance, physical sustenance for some time, but you cannot give up prayers. That's why in every religion, prayer and fasting, they complement. Fasting actually is a reminder to us that there are so many people in the world who are deprived of food. And so when you also stop eating, you remind yourself and are able to give more time for spiritual worship. So prayer is a loving conversation with the divine. It connects the human being to the spiritual reality or the cause behind the creation. And every Baha'i is duty bound to start his or her day with prayers. So my day begins with prayers. First thing I get up, I have about 1.5–2 liters of water. I clean myself. I do some exercises. No, before my exercise, actually, I spend about 15 to 20 minutes in prayer and meditation. If it's a holiday, I can give more time. But it starts with prayer, and also at night, before going to sleep, I say a prayer. And before saying that prayer, I reflect, how has my day been? Have I said any word which has offended anybody? Have I misbehaved with anybody? All that taking of the account actually helps me to improve myself on a daily basis. Because Baha'u'llah himself says, bring thyself to account each day, ere thou art summoned to a reckoning. For death unheralded shall come upon thee, and thou shalt be asked to give account for thy deeds. So why not do it on a daily basis? And by doing it, it also becomes a spiritual, I would say, agenda for continuous development.
Can you say a few words of your prayer? So,
Yes, yeah, one of the prayers that I say every day is, Thy name is my healing, O my God, and remembrance of Thee is my remedy. Nearness to Thee is my hope, and love for Thee is my companion. Thy mercy to me is my healing and my succor in both this world and in the world to come. Thou verily art the all-bountiful, the all-knowing, the all-wise. This is a prayer for healing, and whenever I say this prayer, if I know that somebody is unwell, then I remember that person. So like this, we have a prayer in the morning. I have risen this morning by Thy grace, O my God, and left my home, trusting wholly in Thee, committing myself to Thy care. Send down then upon me a blessing from Thy side, and enable me to return home in safety, even as Thou didst enable me to set out with my thoughts fixed steadfastly upon Thee. There is none other God but Thee, the one, the single, the incomparable, the all-knowing, the all-wise. So like this, we have many prayers, and one can pray in any language, because prayer is conversation with the divine. God looks at the purity of one's heart. That is more important, not the external rituals. Even if you have a very elaborate ceremony with all the wonderful things as offerings for the divine, yet if your heart is not pure, or if you have come with the intention that God, get this work done for me and I will do this for you, then it does not pray. And the purest prayer is a prayer that is offered in the praise and gratitude. Because we have, every human being, howsoever poor or needy, if he or she learns to express gratitude and gratefulness, I think many wonderful things will happen. Because every human being has to be very grateful for many bounties and blessings.